Hello friends, I'm Deneen and I'm your frugal fashionista. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. In this channel we're going to be talking about all different ways you can save money and make money. And one of those ways is by reselling. In this particular video, I'm going to be showing you some of my haul that I got when I was in Philadelphia, some of my thrifted finds. I also did Thriftcon in Philadelphia, and I did that with the help of Vendoo Crosslisting Service, but really they do so much more, and we'll get into that later in the video. But for now, I just want to say, please, if you like what you see, subscribe to my channel, click that little bell, give it a like, and if you have any questions, please leave comments. So, without further ado, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I live in New York. I've been reselling and thrifting for over 20 years, but honestly, it started when I was a kid, growing up, going from garage sale to garage sale, getting hand-me-downs, and now here I am, trying to teach others how to do the same thing that I did really my whole life. Having said that, let me show you my first find from Philadelphia, and mind you, these are all vintage finds. So, my first piece that I got was this. Now you say, what is this? That's what I said. I said, what is this? Okay. And then I noticed it had this tag. And if you want to laugh, it was in the store and it was on a ledge with the Christmas thing. So I don't know what they thought. If they thought this was, you know, a big snowflake or something for the Christmas tree, I have no idea. But look at the inside and look at the pink satin lining. It is, oh gosh, it is delectable. So this hat, actually, if I am correct, is from the 1960s, and it is hand done from someone in New York City called B. Jackson. If anybody knows about B. Jackson, please leave your answer in the comments because I am doing more investigation on this piece. But it was marked for $2.49 and I had to pick it up. The beading and the rhinestones and everything is just absolutely amazing and exquisite, and I think I can get a couple of $100s for this. So when you see things that are odd, don't forget, inspect, take a look, Google it, use your Google Lens because Google Lens is your friend. I Google everything, and that's how I found out a little bit about this hat. You can also go into places like Clubhouse where resellers are having communication about, you know, offering advice on different pieces that we find in the wild. Just put up a picture and ask people. In Facebook groups like Poshmark Thrifting, Poshmark New York, Thrifters, anything like that. You can even put it in your story in Instagram. So now, as you all know, I love hats. This hat, once again, I left the price on it so you guys can see, is from Savers. It's $2.49. You know, when you think of vintage, you always have to look at the labels. You know, I used to think, hey, I know vintage. If it looks old, it's vintage. That was how it was for me, okay? But not really. This is a Michael Howard 100% wool hat by Jacqueline Farrar. And now when these pieces usually say made in the US, that also gives you something to look at because a lot of times it's either vintage or new vintage. So new vintage is something really 20 to 25 years, and older vintage is something that a lot of people consider to be 40 years or older or past the 25-year mark. This I actually found using Google Lens once again, and it said it was from the 1980s, and I think this hat could go for about $50. So from $250 to $50, that's not too bad, not too shabby. So next is my favorite piece, okay? This piece I got for $6.99, and right away I knew what it was because I'm familiar with this brand. So get yourself familiar with mesh bags or anything mesh that looks a little bit older to you from Whiting, Whiting, and Davis. And I'm going to show you some other pieces I found. A little cigarette case, a little eyeglass case, gorgeous. Mind you, these pieces were all under $10. I have another piece in here. Now this is satin and it's a wallet. Gorgeous, okay? But really out of all these pieces, this is my absolute favorite. It's a stunner. It reminds me of Pucci. And if you look up Pucci, Pucci, Pucci is a high-end designer, and this reminds me of Pucci, but this is, once again, you'll see this is the label for Whiting and Davis for this particular bag. And these bags, this should retail, I mean, I'm putting this up because it's unique, and I have not seen another one like it for well over $100. All these other little pieces, I would say you can get anywhere from $45 to $65 a piece. You know, price comps are a little bit all over the place, but it depends on where you list it too. You know, I have found a site recently called Shop Thrilling. Etsy you can go on eBay, put it all over the place. What I like to do with my pieces is I will use Vendoo to put my pieces on. Now Vendoo, everyone says the core of it really is cross-listing to 10 different marketplaces, but really it's a reseller's business tool. Now I say that because the analytics are fire. So what I do is I will put my items directly into Vendoo because it does host all your items. And then I'll fill in all the information in Vendoo instead of in eBay or Poshmark first. It all goes into Vendoo. Because literally what I can do is I can put it in, I can price check it in Vendoo, and then I can export it out to all different marketplaces. And for me, that's working smarter and not harder. Okay, so now when I do that and I'm done with that, if something sells, I can check my analytics. I can check what brand sold. I can check where it sold. I can check how it sold. I can check everything. I can check the price points, the day, and Vendoo makes it very easy with all the graphs and charts. In my previous video, I don't know if you noticed, but I did talk about delisting and relisting on Vendoo too, because if it's stale, Vendoo has a stale item warning sticker if you choose to put that on there, and I have mine set for 30 days. So when I see something is over 30 days old, right away I will go in and I will just delist it and relist it just with several clicks of a button. And they also have a multi-delist and relist feature as well. Vendoo also holds my inventory for me, and I mean, it makes inventory management so easy. So you can check by date newest, date oldest, you can sort by alphabetical order. It tells you everything in there. You can go into drafts, solds, whatever's active by all marketplaces that they have on their site, or active by one marketplace. It's totally up to you. I create my templates on there, so I know if I have vintage pieces, I will put vintage, and I will just put the basics on there. And then I can reuse that template instead of copying and pasting all of my information. This channel, I'm also going to be taking time to make 5-minute or less videos on how to use different features of Vendoo. So stay tuned for that. But having said all that, let's get to the next garment. This piece here is a Scala. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh, look at this. See the beads? Oh my goodness, the beads. I know you can't see the full beauty of it and the silk lining, but let me show you the tag. And really, Google again is your friend. So what I did with this to check out the dates on it, what date that this particular piece might be from, is I went and I checked out the tag on Vintage Guild. And on the Vintage Guild, it said it was from the 80s. And I can probably get around $100 for this item. And what I paid less than $5 for the item. So really, it's all about doing your due diligence. You can also look up trademarks on Trademarkia. So Vintage Guild and Trademarkia, Google Lens, Google Facebook groups, they're all your friend. Next up, I have this Fila jacket. And this is definitely vintage. Once again, I looked it up from Google because I wasn't sure. I figured out it was probably from the 90s. And sure enough, it is from the 90s. And this jacket goes for around $50 to $75. Next, we have a Pendleton skirt. Now, this is new with tags. Okay, so now this Pendleton skirt, new with tags. And just to show you the label right here, I don't know if you can see that. This skirt is from the mid-90s. And how did I know? I looked it up through Vintage Guild. Oh, what a surprise, right? And that's because of how the logo is on the tag. So this skirt, I'd probably get, I don't know, maybe $50 to $75 for it. Okay, so next, this is a pasta, and it's a vintage sweater pullover, and this is perfect because we're getting right around July comes up right before you know it. And if you look at the tag here, it says made in the USA. So, and don't mind my nails. It says made in the USA. And so that's how I knew right away that this is vintage. This is I believe this is an 80s sweater, and this will probably go for $45. And I got this at the bins. And this piece is one of the pieces I'm saving for last because I can literally go all day about these vintage finds because I collect vintage. I love it, especially vintage jewelry. I love it for myself. And this is a dress pin. It is from the 1920s, and it has it's glass, enamel, and beading, and it is just, look at the back of it. It is just absolutely beautiful. It's more beautiful in person. And this I got from a church thrift for like $2.99. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna price this at, but I'm thinking this is actually not vintage. This is an antique. So I'm thinking about $150 would probably be a good price point for this, and I'll probably put this on Etsy, Shop Thrilling, one of those sites. So thank you for watching this video. And what do I do with all this when I'm done? I send it out to eBliss. So I put it all on Vendoo. I wait, I send it all out to eBliss because you know what? eBliss is storage and fulfillment for resellers, so they will ship it for you, all for very inexpensive. And I'm a frugal fashionista, so I'm all about frugality. And then I have space in my home, space to either buy new things, which is usually what I do, or just to have a clear mind. So having said that, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the bell below, leave a comment, and thanks again for tuning in. Bye.